Thanks so much to all my patrons. Join now to help support the channel and help pick the books I review on this channel. Link in the description. And I am done. Okay, so I just got done reading Ashes of Man. This is book 5 in the Sun Eater series by Christopher Ruocchio, and I want to give you my unedited thoughts on finishing this book, which was literally just right now. So, amazing. This thing is so good. And I honestly, Ruocchio is so impressive to me that he's built this story that for me at this point, every book has gotten better than the last. And that is nuts because, I mean, we're talking about the last few books now of being some of the best books that I've ever read, and this one being the best of them. And it's hard for me kind of to separate out, my thoughts about the individual books themselves when I already have such positive feelings about the series in general. I know these characters so intimately well and know their backstory, hundreds of years of backstory in the case of this series. So when a book is just so off the charts amazing, that it makes it even that much better because I have that pre-existing relationship with everybody here going for it. But it's such a pleasing experience to see an author just execute at such a high level time and time and time again. And this series is really going down as ultimately one of my top very small handful of series. I mean, it's definitely jumped up there above some of the other greats that I feel are on that kind of top 10 list for me. When I think about this now, I definitely like this more than something like A Song of Ice and Fire, a series I love. Definitely like it more than something like Stormlight Archive, a series that I love. I mean, it's solidly in the top 5. Which is just amazing. And I still have 2 books left to go. So I am still 1 book away from being caught up to what everybody else is at. And there's only 1 book left to go. So I definitely want to finish this, the next one, Disquiet Gods, sometime before the end of the year. So that I can kind of catch up and then finish up that last book. Finally caught up for the last book there, being able to read it just along with all of you, which would be so amazing. It's hard for me to describe what makes this book so amazing because it's truly all the different components here built into one. More than anything, it's Ruocchio's writing. It works so well for me. I know obviously writing quality is very subjective, and you could have 10 people in a room reading 10 different things, and each person could have a favorite, and that's real and valid, and not one does not make themselves better than the other. For me, Ruocchio's writing is perfect, and it becomes almost more like romantic and touching as it goes along in the series because, like I said, we have this deep attachment to these characters, and because of the scope of the series. I mean, in most series, and by most I mean virtually all, you got this story told over a matter of months or in some cases years. But in something like this, that is this huge sprawling space epic that deals with, fights on one end of the galaxy to the next, and these characters that can live for hundreds of years and beyond that can freeze their bodies so that they can go even longer. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years passing with these characters who everybody that they've known are gone and died as they move on to these other lives. It's amazing. It's so amazingly crafted. And how touching it can be sticking with these characters for such a long period of time. I love how the scale of how epic this is because of that style that I've read series that deal with these large scales of time. Asimov's have some stuff like that, but none that truly make it feel as grand as this one does. And for me that loves huge, epic, grand fantasies, for me to look at something that I honestly think that makes me feel like it's the grandest there is such a great feeling in the way that this has all been kind of laid out together. I love this spanning of time. I'm a sucker, and I've said it for a long time, when books can be so brave as to have time jumps. And this is like a central factor towards this series as major time jumps within books, having these major time jumps. This book in particular went in some directions that I thought were truly amazing. I love books that don't have happy endings necessarily. I do enjoy those type of things, but I love being subverted. I love these negative feelings that I get in books because that makes the good things feel even better and more complex. And a series that keeps getting deeper and deeper into the pit of despair is refreshing in a way. And it feels true, and it feels like I'm watching this character, this main character, Hadrian, fall into this pit of despair over time in what's being asked of him. And it's time and time again, this character tries to pick himself up again and try to move on with his life. And it's very cool to be able to read something like that. The only other series that I've ever read that makes me feel so attached to a main character like this, because of that grand time we get to spend with them, is Fitz in Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. And that's a character that I've always viewed as the best written main character in all of fantasy, and that may be getting kind of upset by this character, Hadrian. I'm in awe right now of how good this is. I honestly feel like this series deserves to be up there with the titans of literature. It deserves everything. I don't know how well this could be adapted towards like movies or TV or whatnot, but which is somewhat pivotal in making some like huge success. But this deserves to be there, and I know that it has such wide appeal because virtually everybody that I've recommended this book for, and I bought this book for a lot of people and recommended it to a ton of people. Everybody unanimously says that they love it. Not everybody is just like deeply, deeply in love with the first book. I don't know that it's written to be that way, because the first book is just like the smallest little touch in the ocean here of what the series really is it transforms into something totally different as the books go along, and it feels like an entirely different series from that first book to now, and what what themes we're going over, and what even the book's about. But certainly by you get into that second book, just getting obsessed with and wrapped up in the truly magical experience that you get to go along with here, because everything's here. And I love that on the surface it feels like this kind of classic sci-fi story. It feels very Dune-esque. It feels like you know where things are going to go, and then it goes somewhere totally different. And I love that it feels like, why is this even a fantasy book? And as you get into that second book, and certainly into now, you start having this truly fantastical element to things, and rather complex with multiple different aspects of I don't really want to ruin anything here, but it's more complex than even the reader understands at this point, and unraveling that mystery and this power that feels like it almost takes a back seat to the science fiction aspects, because it's a power that can't be relied upon, but it certainly makes this character unique and godlike in a way. But it's not like an overpowered thing, even though it is when it's used, but it can't be used all the time. So, but that's a cool aspect as well. So yeah, just in awe. I don't want to keep on yabbering out of the same kind of stuff that I love, but check out the series if you haven't already. I don't know why you're watching this video if you haven't been reading the series. Get on it. It's time to give this series the proper respect in the highest peaks of fantasy. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy reading to you. Thanks again to all my patrons, with a special shout out to my Ascendant tier and Librarian tier patrons: Amy, Anna G, CJ, Doust, Darren, JD, Jonathan, Nathan T, Nev's Book Channel, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝐼𝐴, Ron Reich, Russell, Ryan L, Slay, Sydney Baker, Tahir, Zion, Anna, Andra, Blair, Brock, Evan, Harry W, Joe UK, Kat Mick, Michael Sugarman, Sky, and Tyler. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video, and if you want to watch some more content from my channel, click over here and I've got some good videos for you. Thanks so much.